Is that the water goes?
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Grade school, elementary ed. So she actually did a bunch of studying and went and got passed her test and was certified.
Okay, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Alright, all kinds of newcomers, good. Alright, for you newcomers, a couple of rules real quick. Number one, please do not stand up on the boat during the tour. The reason for that is that we're going to be going right underneath some really low bridges. Now, if you're going to pop up real quick, take a picture, or stand up, take a good look at something and sit back down, that's fine. Just be very aware of the bridges coming up. Some of them come right around blind corners at you, okay? Number two, please don't smoke or vape on the boat. And let's see, alcoholic beverages are allowed and encouraged. And number three, please don't be having loud conversations or chatting on cell phones. No one wants to hear it, and that ruins it for everyone else, alright? Now with that, one last thing before we get going, which is this. If for some reason one of you ends up in the water on this tour, I have life jackets below deck. If you end up in the river, I will throw you a life preserver. At which point, what I need you to do is to very calmly hold it up over your head and just walk to shore. Okay? We're not in much water here. No danger on the San Antonio River. With that, you got my first landmark is on my left. That is our Montreal Hotel. Prior to being a hotel, that building goes all the way back to 1853 as an all-boys boarding school called St. Mary's College. Staying inside either 19th century boys' dorms or 19th century classrooms. That's not Montreal for you. That brings us underneath the Navarro Street Bridge right here. Once we get out from underneath this bridge on the other side, if you look immediately, I mean immediately on my left, that way over to the sky, I see a little architectural illusion. It's going to look like a single freestanding wall over the top of the water. What that actually is a massive triangular building. It takes up half a city block. That's the Nick Hospital, built in 1930, and that is, of all things, America's very first, and that's just my dramatic pause, America's very first air-conditioned hospital. We don't pioneer very many things here in San Antonio. We don't invent much of anything, but we did invent air conditioning. By the way, if anyone is Carol Burnett, he was born right there at the next San Antonio later, little Carol Burnett. Straight ahead of us, folks, behind that Percy Bridge, that large boxy building right behind it with all those rectangular windows, that is a Hyatt Regency Hotel that is famous around here for its height. Not because it's tall, but because it's uncharacteristically short, and there's a very peculiar reason for it. The city of San Antonio, believe it or not, actually prohibits any building in the city from casting a shadow upon the Alamo except in the setting sun. True story. This Hyatt here on my left is limited to 16 floors. That's all they get. And that's because the Alamo is on the other side of it. The Hyatt sits between the Alamo and the setting sun every night. Okay, guys. Trivia question number 1 of 3. Last folks got 2 correct. Let's see how you do. Trivia question number 1. Here we go. Speaking of the Alamo is the number 2, not the number 1. And the number 2 was visited. Not the zoo. Number 1 is the San Antonio Riverwalk. Number 1. 2 is the Alamo. Number 3, just for fun, you would never guess it if I gave you 1,000 chances. Number 3, you're riding on it right now. There's a Go Rio boat race here on the river. We sell more tickets year after year than East and Ashland. That's probably because we're open 365 days a year. We only have 81 home games with 4.5 to 1 advantage for East County. This bridge right here, folks, is plain old bridge, wants to be seen now over about 100 yards going ahead of us that we like to call Restaurant Road. Right now, it's on both sides of it, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the epicenter of all the Tex-Mex cuisine right here in the South Virginia. All these restaurants, both sides of it, nothing but Tex-Mex. All along here, river level dining, balcony dining, indoor and outdoor seating, topless quesadillas, guacamole, homemade guacamole, by the way. You name it, if it's Tex-Mex, it's on the menu right here along along Restaurant Road. And by the time I drop you guys off at the end of the tour, we will have passed by so many restaurants, whether you've seen them all or not. And here is a new one. They dragged it onto the street. From there, they put it aboard 18 dollies and rolled it 6 blocks south of here to my right to its final resting place, where it still, to this day, operates as a full-service, fully functioning hotel. You can stay there at the Fairmount tonight, rooftop oysters and all. Now that old Fairmount is a road down the streets of San Antonio. It traveled at an average pace of 0.04 miles per hour. It took 5 days to go 6 blocks. And keep in mind, this is almost 40 years ago now. The whole city of San Antonio back then went crazy for this record-breaking event. They all came out and drove by the thousands and they lined the sidewalks with their beach blankets and picnic baskets and lawn chairs, and they sat by and watched this old rickety hotel crawl down the street at 4/100th of a mile per hour for 5 long days. And that was the largest scale move of its kind in the world, and that's the story of the Fairmount and the Marriott. We're gonna hang a left here, guys. As I do, if I can draw your attention to my right, I'm gonna point at it so you don't miss it. There it is, way in the distance. That is the 750-foot tall observation deck of our restaurant. Yes, it does rotate once every 45 minutes. That is a 1968 Tower of the Americas, the second most iconic structure in San Antonio, second only to the Alamo itself. Here's what I'm going to tell you about the Tower of the Americas, which you're not going to hear many places, which is this. There are 2 ways to get to the top. Number 1, you can take a 4-minute elevator ride for $16.50. Or number 2, you can climb by foot all 952 stairs that spiral up the interior of that old structure. And if any of you want to make it interesting, come back in January and sign up for the annual race to the top of the Tower of the Americas. All-time world record. Fire department. Here's one of our free boat docks, guys. Same tools, different locations. Margaritas, souvenirs. There it is. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. We are now entering the second largest shopping mall in San Antonio, Texas. Right ahead of us, that is the only, the Shops at the River Center. We have 125 businesses here spread out over 1 million square feet of commercial real estate. Within these walls, we have 14 riverside restaurants, 2 food courts, an aquarium, Build-A-Bear, a Legoland. We got 3 movie theaters, including an IMAX. And if you check out these exterior walls towering over us, they are made